Thank you for reading our coverage of NXT UK, streaming on the WWE Network every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Feel free to comment below, hit the share button, and join us every Wednesday for more NXT UK coverage. No cold open. Straight into the intro song. Dusted by Asteroid Boys, Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness welcome us to another edition of NXT UK. Today's show takes place in Cardiff, and is the first after TakeOver. Commentary tells us that the grizzled young veterans will be receiving a tag title rematch in tonight's main event against New Shams Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Imperium make their way to the ring, led by the NXT UK champion Walter. Crowd chants, "You still suck," before launching into the Tyler Bate anthem the UK fans have made famous. Marcel Barthel gets on the microphone and preaches that Imperium's arrival on the brand was a necessity. "You may not like us, but you will respect our rules, our teachings, and our way of life." Alexander Wolf is next. Imperium are here to protect the honor of the mat, and we are here to protect the honor of our sport. And if you're not willing, and if you reject, you'll endure pain. You will experience suffering. You will fall. Wolf hands Walter the stick. He says he disposed of Tyler Bate, and the faction disposed of British Strong Style. There's no one left to stand up to this group of supreme athletes. You all need to accept that we are your future. This is the era of Imperium. Danny Jones and Harry Green are out next to face Barthel and Fabian Aichner in our opening tag contest. Walter and Wolf watch from the outside. Barthel and Aichner attack Green and Jones before the bell. Referee asks if they wish to continue. They do, and we are underway. Imperium versus Danny Jones. Harry Green. Barthel stomps away at Jones. Big right hand, running uppercut, butterfly suplex, and PK in succession from Barthel. Aichner tags in. Clubbing blow to Jones' back. He mockingly boots Jones in the head, then lifts him up for a brutalizing backbreaker. Aichner lifts Jones up and powerslams him into his team's corner, allowing him to tag in Green. Green runs right into a chop from Aichner. Green shows some fight, but Imperium hit a wheelbarrow DDT combo. They bring Jones back in and nail him with dual drop kicks on the apron. They set Green up for the finisher, European Bomb, and that's it. Imperium wins by pinfall afterwards. Imperium continue their assault on Green and Jones, which includes Walter striking the smaller men down. Commentary asks, who can stop Imperium? Flashback to last week's NXT UK, when Sid Scala bravely stepped up to face Cassius Ohno, but was disposed of pretty easily by the wrestling genius. Cut to Scala, who says that his return to the ring was not a one-off, and that general manager Johnny Satt has issued a rematch. He says that they will meet next week in a British rounds match. "And this time, I'll be ready," says Scala, ending the segment. Commercial for NXT's USA Network debut next Wednesday. Noam Dar will hold a press conference that will air later in the episode. Dar claims to have a major announcement for the NXT UK universe. The Irish ace Jordan Devlin is out for our next bout. He'll be facing Ashton Smith, who is out second. Jordan Devlin versus Ashton Smith tee up. Devlin with a wristlock. Smith reverses the pressure, but Devlin slams Smith across the face to break the hold. This angers Smith, who nails an uppercut and shoulder block. Sunset flip attempt by Devlin. Smith blocks it, lifts Devlin up and hits a drop kick. Back body drop sends Devlin to the apron. Devlin baits Smith in and whips the ropes into his eyes. He stomps Smith down before yelling, "Who's the man?" at the crowd. Thunderous forearm to Smith's back. Devlin slows the action by applying an arm submission. Smith gets to his feet. Devlin catches him with a Uranagi. Standing moonsault from Devlin. Smith gets the knees up. Running corner knee connects. Smith follows that up with a running drop kick. Angle slam for a near fall. Smith charges. Devlin gets an elbow up. He goes for a middle rope crossbody. Smith catches him and maneuvers him into a stalling vertical suplex. Cover. Devlin still alive. Smith sets Devlin up for a reverse DDT. Devlin smashes his knee off Smith's face. Slingshot cutter by Devlin for 2. Devlin climbs. Smith hits a super kick on Devlin's moonsault. Smith off the ropes. Spanish fly by Devlin. Cover. Another 2 count. Devlin gets Smith's wrist. Saito suplex. Jordan Devlin wins by pinfall. Backstage, a planned interview with former women's champion Toni Storm, but Storm is nowhere to be seen. Nina Samuel strolls up. She says that TakeOver Cardiff is a thing of the past, and that she is the future of the brand. Commentary tells us that Tegan Nox will be making her NXT UK debut, which is next. Preview for Clash of Champions this Sunday on the WWE Network. A vignette hyping next week's British rounds bout between Cassius Ohno and Sid Scala is played. British legends like Nigel McGuinness, William Regal, and Johnny Saint all talk about the legacy of the matchup before the rules are explained. Back to the arena, Shax is in the ring for a women's division matchup. She'll be attempting to ruin the debut of Tegan Nox. Big ovation for Nox. Shax vs Tegan Nox. Nox offers a handshake but Shax slams it away. Nox responds with a roundhouse kick, then a fallaway slam. Shining Wizard. And this one is done quick. Tegan Nox wins by pinfall. Nox celebrates. The new women's champion Kaylee Ray comes out microphone in hand. She says at TakeOver she defeated Toni Storm, but everyone wanted to talk about the little girl with the shiniest wizard returning home, referring to Nox. Tegan, you and everybody else here, saw exactly what I was willing to do to Toni Storm. You stand in my spotlight again, and I'll do the exact same to you. Nox grabs a microphone in response. You want to fight Kaylee? Anytime, anywhere. Ray smiles and exits. We go to Noam Dar's press conference. He thanks everyone for attending. He says the last 2 weeks of his life have been the worst of his life. I need to mature and look at the bigger picture. That's why I'd like to announce that I'm the best Scottish Supernova 11 in WWE history. Dar opens the floor for questions. After a few bits, Dar sees Trent Seven, who is on the phone with 205 Live general manager Drake Maverick, begging him to take Dar back. Dar eventually leaves, with Seven questioning the reporters as to why they were even there. Commentary tells us that Joe Coffey and Dave Mastiff are still feeling the effects of their last man standing match-up from TakeOver, but both should be expected back any day. Main event time. Grizzled young veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, are out first. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster are second. Introductions are down. Here we go. Grizzled young veterans vs Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster for the NXT UK Tag Team Championship. Gibson and Andrews begin. Tie-up. Wristlock from Gibson. Andrews with an athletic escape. He reverses the pressure. Gibson regains control and tags in Drake, who targets Andrews' arm. Andrews slips out of a powerslam, then catches Drake in an arm drag. Webster gets tagged in. Tandem offense from the champions, including a snap air dropkick combo. Double hip toss. Andrews back in. He bounces Drake off the ropes. Gibson with a blind tag. He nails Andrews with a lariat, then knocks Webster off the apron. Gibson unloads strikes onto Andrews before quickly tagging in Drake. Drake hits a running enziguri. Gibson stands Andrews up. Super kick by Drake. Webster breaks up the pin attempt, but the grizzled young veterans are in complete control in the early going. Andrews gets sent to the outside. Spike shoulder breaker from the grizzled young veterans. Back in the ring, Gibson connects with a lariat, then throws Andrews into a spinning heel kick from Drake. Drake grinds down Andrews with a Cobra clutch. Crowd trying to rally Andrews to make a tag. Stunner out of nowhere from Andrews, he makes the tag to Webster. Webster comes in hot, running dropkick sends Gibson to ringside. Barely tail ending from Webster to Drake, but Drake kicks out on the pin attempt. Gibson distracts Webster, giving Drake a chance to land a strike. Gibson slows Webster's momentum. Fireman's carry. Webster shifts his weight and tags Andrews. Assisted 450 from Andrews and Webster for a near fall. The Shams go for another double team, but Drake breaks it up. All 4 men in. Doomsday device from the grizzled young veterans. Andrews breaks up the pin. Drake and Webster alone in the ring. Drake goes for a superplex. Webster headbutts him and slips through. Andrews jumps up and takes Drake out with the top rope poison Frankensteiner. Somehow Drake kicks out on the pin attempt. Loud NXT chants after the spot. Some miscommunication and Webster ends up on the outside. Drake arm rings Andrews. Gibson comes in and applies the Shankly Gate submission. Andrews in trouble. Webster comes out of nowhere with a swanton. He takes out Gibson. He goes for a DDT. Grizzled young veterans catch and set him up for the finisher. Webster rolls them up. 2 count. Quick series of pins. Gibson slows the pace by slapping Webster across the face. Springboard drop kick misses. Drake goes for another super kick but hits Gibson. Sliced bread from Webster to Drake. He tags in Andrews, who is on the top. Shooting star press. Got M. Mark Andrews. Flash Morgan. Webster win by pinfall to retain the NXT UK Tag Team Championship. Andrews and Webster celebrate the first title defense, while Drake and Gibson argue on the outside after another miscommunication lost him the titles. That's the show, friends. Let's block ads. Why?